Welcome everyone to the launch webinar of the Northern Ontario Business Settlement Service. My name is Charles Bakai, and I'm the head of Business Settlement Services here at Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program. In today's webinar, we will be providing with information on how this new initiative is geared towards supporting Black entrepreneurs, investors, and business owners in setting up shop in Northern Ontario. A quick reminder of things. This webinar is recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel, NOBEEP, and on our website, nobeep.ca. The slides will also be sent to all registrants, and there is a Q&A at the end of our presentation. I have the distinct honor and privilege of being joined today by the CEO of NOBEEP, Chamrai Charles Nyebeze. Chamrai, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Charles. Again, welcome everybody. We know that there's people on the line from across the world, and we welcome you to our conversation. To get things off, I want to just let everyone know that the land that Northern Ontario is sitting on are the traditional lands of many First Nations, and there are quite a few amazing First Nation communities in Northern Ontario, and we've listed them over here for you to be able to see who they are, and you can also read their individual names when we send you the slides. Thank you.
Excellent. Today's agenda is fairly straightforward. We will be discussing where Northern Ontario is located within the context of Canada, what the Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program is. But what we really want you to pay attention to is who can be a client or a partner and how to become a client or a partner. Chamrai?
So next, I want to just give everyone on the call a geographical view of where Northern Ontario is relative to the rest of Canada and also relative to the rest of North America. Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. You can see the location of Northern Ontario on the left-hand side where there's an ON, that's for Ontario. And you can see that Northern Ontario is quite the majority of the landmass of the province called Ontario. Go ahead. And here we have provided you information on the official Canada website, canada.ca, the official Ontario website, ontario.ca. And for those of you who know where Toronto is, Northern Ontario's capital city, Sudbury, is located about 4 hours drive from Toronto, and it's about an hour's flight. There's also train and bus access from Toronto to Sudbury. And then once you get to Sudbury, there's gateways to go into the rest of Northern Ontario through various modes of transportation. So, what is the Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program? The Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program has its genesis in the year 2022, July, and it is a program that is supported by the Government of Canada to support the development of Black entrepreneurs in Northern Ontario. The Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program is managed by the Afro Heritage Association of Sudbury, and which has a governance board of directors, which is comprised of our president and co-founder, Shante Bekai. And also we've got boards of directors that comprise retirees, accountants, engineers, and people that are in the business of real estate. In terms of our team, and our team are all here on the call with me today. And if you see on the team, you'll see their videos are on. We've got Gina, who is our Chief Operating Officer, and Karen Ngoma, who is our Program Coordinator. And of course, you've already met Charles. I want to just highlight that Karen is also our bilingual person in the office, and she'll be able to cater for all those who want services in French. The Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program is funded by the Federal Economic Development Agency, also known as FEDNO, for Northern Ontario, and also the Black Entrepreneurship Program funded us in the beginning. At the Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program, we offer various services, curated services to connect the dots for things like business plan and market plan development, leveraging existing Northern Ontario services. We also work with education through our partners, and we also connect entrepreneurs to the Northern Ontario business support ecosystem.
So, what's the fuss about Northern Ontario? Well, according to Census 2021, Canada's population was 37 million people. Ontario's population was 14.2 million, accounting for 38% of the country's total population. Southern Ontario's population was 13.5 million, accounting for 95% of Ontario's population. And Northern Ontario, I'm seeing at a meager under 180,000 people, accounting for 5%. And the Black population in the North is less than 5% of, is less than 1%, excuse me, of Northern Ontario's total population. So what does this mean for the North? Well, the North is underutilized with room to grow. There is a first mover advantage. It is abundant in natural resources, has affordable housing, growing industries, and extremely supportive communities. Some key cities and industries in Northern Ontario. Northern Ontario is home to numerous communities, big and small. The biggest are Greater Sudbury, Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, North Bay, Timmins, Kenora, Elliott Lake, Temiskaming Shores, and Dryden. Their logos will actually lead you to their website because, again, these slides will be presented to you once at the end of our presentation. So you can go on their sites just to learn more about each city. Sectors of opportunity in Northern Ontario. Again, Northern Ontario is abundant in natural resources, right? So mining and supply services, excellent opportunity. Forestry and value-added product. Clean energy, green economy. Healthcare and social services. Education, training and research. Aviation and aerospace. Tourism and outdoor recreation. Film and the creative industries. Technology and innovation. Agriculture, construction and infrastructure development, and transportation and logistics. What is the Northern Ontario Business Settlement Service? Well, our mission is to connect Black entrepreneurs, business owners, and investors with the untapped opportunities of Northern Ontario. Our vision is to position Northern Ontario as a globally recognized destination for Black entrepreneurship. Who can become a client or a partner? For our clients, if you're an entrepreneur looking to start a business, if you're a business owner looking to expand your reach, and if you're an investor looking to acquire or invest in businesses, we would love to hear from you. And for our partners, if you do the following: attraction and immigration, legal and financial setup, business, strategic planning and preparation, launch, coaching and early support, growth and expansion, community integration, we'd love to hear from you. Kamrai, over to you.
So in order for you as a client to access the services of the Northern Ontario Business Settlement Service, you've got three options. For those of you who are going to be bringing in a complex venture or a complex investment vehicle into Northern Ontario, we call this our full service package, and we call it expansion. It's an annual fee of $10,000 US, supporting all market growth services, and also making sure that you've got that market research and other advanced services, including acquisitions or immigration pathways. Our mid-tier package, we call it growth, and it's comprehensive support, best for the growth-focused client, ready to build local connections. And our entry package, which we call foundational support, starter, this one is best for the new entrepreneurs. We have provided two options for you to be able to enroll, which is kind of an installment. You can pay in two installments or 10% discount if you do a full payment. And I want to just emphasize that we do work with reputable processors such as Stripe, and our banking is through one of Canada's biggest banks, which is the Royal Bank of Canada, which is what we use to manage all of our business accounts.
Excellent. And now for the process of becoming a client, it is fairly straightforward. So again, if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, or an investor, the way you engage with us is first through an intake form. We then go through an eligibility assessment, an interview, another assessment, a decision, you make a payment, we send you a welcome letter, you're onboarded, we gather more data, we develop a work plan, and then we jump into delivering the service and engaging with our ecosystem. And for our partners, it's a fairly similar process. Step one, intake form. Step two, eligibility assessment. Then we move into a decision, an interview. We develop an agreement. We make a decision about said developed agreement. We actually sign the agreement, and then we initiate the partnership. The benefits of becoming a partner: you get direct access to new clients, right? You are showcased as a trusted partner across diaspora and business networks. You get to secure a spot in the growing diaspora investment market, right? You get to build cross-sector and international relationships with businesses and governments, right? You contribute to job creation and strengthening Northern Ontario's economy. Our value proposition: we are a one-stop hub for Black business settlement, right? We provide direct access to funding, acquisitions, and regional programs. So again, we work with partners, right? We provide a clear pathway to immigrate to Canada, to Northern Ontario with entrepreneurship. We offer tailored bilingual services, and we provide you access to mentorship and strong local connections. Chamrai?
Thank you, Charles, for that overview. Now, if you would like to work with the Northern Ontario Business Settlement Service, you can come in as an entrepreneur starting a new business. And this particular page actually is clickable. So you'll be able to click on the entrepreneur to fill out that initial intake form as an entrepreneur. You can also come in as a business owner looking to expand your business into Northern Ontario. And again, you can click on this link. Third, you can come in as an investor looking to acquire or invest in businesses in Northern Ontario, or looking for us to help you find businesses to invest in Northern Ontario. Again, clickable link with an intake form. And then last, as Charles said, you can come in and partner with us as a service provider. And again, on the service provider side, we're welcoming those who have services under attraction and immigration, legal and financial support, setup, business strategic planning and preparation, launching, coaching and early support, growth and expansion, and community integration. So, who are we as the Northern Ontario Business Settlement Service? We are the ones that are going to close the dots, connect you to Northern Ontario. So we are the bridge between you, Black entrepreneur, Black investor, Black business owner, and Northern Ontario, giving you access, curated access, customized access to all the services that you need to be successful in your venture as you move into Northern Ontario.
Well said, Chamrai. And that concludes the presentation portion of this webinar. Kindly do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn to stay updated on all things NOBEEP related. And also, we would like to encourage you to reach out to us via the contact form on our website. We can now transition to the Q&A portion of the webinar. So please, if you have any questions, send them through the chat box.
Yes, we've got a question from Tachi. And the question here from Tachi is, will the presentation be shared? Yes, everyone who is registered for this presentation is going to be provided with the PDF document of the presentation. And we're also going to provide you a link to the video of this presentation so that you can watch it in your spare time. It's really important that we recorded this presentation because we want to make sure that as you go back to the slides that we went over quite quickly, you can get the full context of what that information is that is being shared. And again, you know what, as we onboard you into the Northern Ontario Business Settlement Service, we'll be able to go a little bit deeper on some of those slides that we have shared with you so that you can get that more full context on what the opportunity is for you. There's a question here. The question is, how realistic is this for entrepreneurs in Africa as you are advertising to us? We have spent many months, TCL, putting this programming together, and we recognize that every entrepreneur that we come across is going to be unique and different in their circumstances. So our intake form allows us to then interview you. During the interview process is when we're going to be able to discuss whether or not you are a good fit for the business settlement service. And then there's a decision point. So at the decision point is where we say your application is approved to go to payment. So no one is going to be asked to make any payment until we know for sure that we are able to actually help you out. So I guess, in terms of, the realisticness of our programming, we want to make sure that there's a good fit between who you are, what you're looking to do in Northern Ontario and Northern Ontario before we move forward to engage you in any process whereby you're making any kind of payment. That's one thing we want to avoid. We want to avoid payment for non-service rendered. We want to make sure that everybody who gets to pay for services actually gets services delivered to them in a way that is measurable, that is traceable, and that we can defend when anyone brings to question whether or not we're able to give value for the service. So thank you so much for that question. And again, we encourage others to add questions here as well, because it's a good opportunity to hear directly from us on
Hmm.
any question that you have about the program. And maybe Charles, do you want to maybe add a bit more to that piece, on how realistic this is for entrepreneurs in Africa? And it's not just Africa,
Yeah.
NOBEEP is looking for Black entrepreneurs from Caribbean nations, from other Black nations that are not
Locations.
just Africa. Charles, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that, Shamrai. Yeah, it really is an opportunity, given that we've been at NOBEEP supporting Black entrepreneurs for the past 3 years or so, right? We've seen the need. We've seen that, again, Northern Ontario is vast. There's just so much room. There's so much opportunity, right? So anyone with a viable idea, right, that is willing to put in the work and work with us, we can most certainly guide them in establishing the right connections, right? Because one of the major reasons No People started is that when, immigrants, Black immigrants come to Canada and the North specifically, they come with no connections. They come with yeah, exactly no connections, right? So that piece is very important for it's a very important piece that we actually provide a solution to, right? So a this is not a service that is not going to provide value. We've already done a lot of groundwork with NoBeep, and this is an extension of that, right? It's sort of a natural growth of the Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program.
Thank you for that, Charles. We have a question here from Tamara, and the question is, do we offer loans to Black entrepreneurs? And if so, does the business need to be operating in Canada? The question of business loans is a very important one, and we get it very often.
Hmm.
First of all, we directly do not offer any loans to any entrepreneur, whether they are in Canada or not. But what we will tell you, though, is that we will help you to make sure that your business is loan worthy. I'll put it that way. We find sometimes that entrepreneurs come to us with ideas that are not put together in a way that allows anyone who may be able to loan them money the confidence to loan them that money. So again, you know what? If you are in Canada and your business is here in Canada, there are funding programs that are available, but you need to make sure that you're qualified for them as well. We're
Hmm.
very, very interested in developing your strength so that your business qualifies for things like loans in the future. Depending on what country you're coming from, there may be in-country services that may be accessible for you, especially given that Canada has a lot of bilateral relationships with other nations. There may be programming that you can access, but again, it has to go back to the merit of your idea and what you yourself are willing to put into it as well. And I always tell entrepreneurs that money likes to feel safe. So money likes to have the confidence that you've got a good, solid plan and that you also have got the skill and ability to convince a would-be lender that they can have their return on their investment in you. So again, everything we do is one-off, one-on-one interaction where we really want to curate the service we're providing to you as an individual. There's a question here from someone, Ramon says, as a resident of Sudbury, do I pay the same amount to become a client as I was or believe? So, yeah, so no BIP clients already get services outside of the business settlement service. The business settlement service is specifically looking at people who are outside Northern Ontario, who want to come into Northern Ontario. So if you are already a NOBEEP client and you already have established yourself here in Canada, you in Canada and in Northern Ontario, you already get the services as complementary to what all Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program clients are getting. So please, to all of our clients across Northern Ontario, you don't have to pay the business settlement fees because that is not the service you're getting in the first place. This is really about people who are transitioning from other countries looking to bring their businesses or their investments into Northern Ontario. So really, we want to attract that foreign direct investment into Northern Ontario from other parts of the world. And
Yeah.
again, I want to emphasize it's not just Africa. It's Black nations, including the Caribbean and other places where Black people are originating from. Charles,
Yeah.
you want to maybe add more to that just to build up our confidence in our existing clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, when we started this program, it was to provide a service to Black entrepreneurs in their desires to start or scale up their businesses, right? And what we found challenging was the lack of support and connections. So we just tried to develop that connections for those entrepreneurs, be a bridge for them. A bridge is very important here. Be a bridge for them in accessing the necessary services to get off the ground. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a question here, Charles, that is really directed at you. But if you can just read it in here. But before
Yeah.
I let you read the question and answer it, I want to just let everyone know that I also arrived in Canada when I was 16 years old. Now I'm old. But Charles, over to you.
Yeah. Okay, let me read the question. So, what has been your main takeaways as an African student, firstly, and then transitioning to business as an African entrepreneur now and operating in the same space? I understand that you have been in Canada since you were 16. I'm not sure how old you are now, but I would like a quick insight of what journey has been like thus far. That's a very good question. The name's TCCL, right? But whoever you are, thank you very much for the question. It has been, well, a journey for one, not a smooth one, but because when I came in to study computer science at Laurentian University. I had a turbulent time with the program, but they were more so personal. And when I got out, I really asked myself, okay, what do I want to actually do with my life? Like, what do I want to master? Right? I asked myself that question, and it came down to what skill sets do I want to build, right? So in my introspection and reflection, I decided that for what I want to do with my life, I want to be an expert in economic development. I want to be an expert in marketing, in building relationships, in managing and leading people, right? In being a service-oriented leader, right? And I had to come out of my shell, right? When I came at 16, I had I had I'd never left my parents. I've never left the side of my parents ever, right? So I had to essentially become a man and assume responsibility, right? So it hasn't been the it hasn't been a smooth journey, but then again, I don't think nothing in life is ever smooth. But the difference is that I was very intentional about where I wanted to go and who I wanted to become. And I surrounded myself with the right people, right? So community is very important as an immigrant, right? And so we understand the struggles. I've gone through it myself, but I was surrounded by people who were very supportive in helping me move forward, right? So we want to be a version of that for people in regards to business. It's difficult. It really is. Then again, nothing worthwhile is ever easy, but it is doable, right? So hopefully that answers your question, my good man.
Thank you for that, Charles. We've got a message here from, I guess maybe we'll start off with the one from Peace. So, Peace, just to let you know that if your business is already established in Northern Ontario, the Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program is already available for you to access. So, please feel free to follow up with our team. You can scan this QR code for the contact us and just remind us of who you are so we can have a conversation with you. But we've got a message here from Spiwe. So Spiwe is from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry from Mkabatini in South Africa. And the question is specifically around, that the chamber has got affiliates who are looking for investment-worthy opportunities in Canada. And what I'd like to say about that is that when we see you come through our intake form and we ask you these very specific questions about what you're looking for in Canada, this is going to allow us to then direct our attention towards where the databases of information are within the different cities that we mentioned earlier on in Northern Ontario, where those opportunities are. So we do have an opportunity there's an opportunity for us to take your information from the intake form and use that as a reason for us to then prod the right people within our ecosystem for opportunities. And again, Sipiwe, this is exactly why we set up this program, to be able to have people like yourself tell us what you're looking for. And then we use what you have told us you're looking for to be able to help you look for those opportunities. Agriculture, property, education, and training are definitely hot buttons here in Northern Ontario. And these are the areas where, there is opportunities for entrepreneurs. As Charles said earlier on, Northern Ontario is a very big place and there's a lot of opportunity here. The rule of law is very strong in Canada. The infrastructure for communications, transportation is quite strong. So you'll be able to really get the full benefit of your entrepreneurship efforts by investing in Northern Ontario. But
Yeah.
certainly, just to conclude on that question again, having you complete that intake form is going to allow us to really get the information necessary to be able to help you move things forward. There's another question here for you, Bekai. I think, no, sorry, it's not
Nice.
for Bekai. That's already been answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing that we're reaching the 12:30 time frame here, half an hour into the call, we want to maybe just go. I'll ask Bekai to say some closing remarks,
Mhm.
and then we can hopefully answer any other questions offline as we move things forward. Bekai, any closing words from you?
Absolutely. Well, first, just want to thank everyone for taking the time out of their day to be with us as we present this new initiative. We are really looking to provide a boost to Northern Ontario's economy, right? Because at the national level, Southern Ontario is sort of the brainchild, if you will, the loved one, if you will, to use that term, right? But the North has so much opportunity just waiting to be unearthed, but literally and figuratively, right? So we want to help you in helping us essentially bring prosperity and bring prosperity to Northern Ontario and just contribute to economic development for the North.
Thank you very much, Charles. And I want to just emphasize that Northern Ontario is open for business, and we, as the Northern Ontario Black Economic Empowerment Program, recognize the business investment strength that is found amongst Black people that are outside of Northern Ontario. And we encourage you to consider Northern Ontario as your home. We are here to serve you, to connect the dots, to bring you information that you don't otherwise have access to in a curated, customized, personalized, and culturally appropriate way. So, on that note, thank you all for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you offline as we help you bring your business and creativeness to Northern Ontario. Thank you very much, everyone. Have yourself a good day. We look forward to connecting in the very near future. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Gina, as well.
Everyone, bye now.
Thank you. Bye for now.